Well, I'm probably best known for my work with the drug squad, but I held other posts as well. While serving as a Chief Superintendent at Garda Headquarters, I have, for example, responsibility for presidential security, governmental security, and I was also national head of Europol and Interpol. WhistleBlower Confidential is a free service drawn up by Risk Management International and offered to Irish society, and it provides a means by which people in the possession of important information which indicates fraud or crime or abuse of persons or property, information of that nature can be brought to official attention and rectified. I think at this stage we can look back and say that people who knew things before didn't do anything about it in many instances. If they had, we may not be in the position we're in now. Things have changed over time. There's a different view now in regard to people who have information concerning wrongdoing. There is a belief now that people should come forward, bring that to public attention. We only have to look at what has happened in the past. It's quite obvious that many people in positions of responsibility were well aware of wrongdoing and did nothing about it, and there has to be reasons for that. Among those reasons I suggest here are the fact that they did not feel that there was a safe, secure way to bring that to public attention without exposing themselves to an enormous risk, which might result in themselves being sacked, losing their jobs, etc. And the fear of that was too much for them. You would log on to our website, you would look at the information that is there, you would consider the options, you would determine the manner in which you wanted to approach us. There are three scenarios. Number one, you may decide to remain anonymous. In that situation, you pass to us the information you have, and we evaluate it and bring it to the evaluations board and determine what can be done about it. In the second scenario, you still remain anonymous, but we give you a coded reference number, which enables you to come back to us when you wish, or us to contact you. We may require further information, we may want to ask you some questions, and your confidentiality is still secure within that. And in the third situation, in the event that a person wishes and has no problem with identifying themselves, well, that will be provided under that third provision, and we can take it from there. We've looked at all the various aspects in terms of leakages, and we have drawn up a system which we feel is as close to total security as one can get.
Okay, so what makes you different than anybody else?
I think that the personnel at Risk Management International, the evaluations team consists of a range of people who have long-term proven track records in regard to dealing with highly sensitive and confidential information and without ever a breach taking place. Yes, there is a provision within the system we have created for us to update the whistleblower, either by the whistleblower contacting us if they wish to remain totally anonymous, or by us through the coded method contacting the whistleblower and giving them an update at certain points. Well, it's our task to provide them with the information. We cannot direct them in what course of action they take, but we can offer our services in regard to further investigation, and they may wish to take that on board, but that is their prerogative. We will check back with them, and they would know, since we brought this to attention, that we would have the means of going back to them. But it would become apparent to the whistleblower whether or not the information was being acted upon. It's quite apparent that in the past, people who had information have not chosen to exercise those options which existed at that time. This is a new option which will ensure their confidentiality, and that may well be attractive for a lot of key people. RMI has had due regard to the provisions of whistleblower legislation. One would disregard data protection at one's peril. We've gone through the Act, we've looked at the legislation, we've consulted with our lawyers, we've consulted with the appropriate authorities within the country in terms of data protection, and we have created a system that satisfies each of those authorities, and therefore I'm prepared to say that we think we satisfy the requirements of data protection. Well, we could envisage a scenario in which, on rare occasions, at the level of, let's say, the High Court, we might come under pressure to divulge the identity of a whistleblower. In that situation, we wouldn't have any option but to comply, but I would emphasise that that's a pretty slim prospect. You should consider who you're going to make this report to. In our case, you should consider who we are, how well established we are, our credibility, the people we are working with, the company. And if you're satisfied with all of that, then log on to whistleblowerconfidential.ie.